Right, what I want to talk about today a little bit is what I call Era Duclita, which is Invincible Ireland. How do we create invincibility for our nation? What is invincibility? And so on. Now, I do have a copy of the Irish Constitution somewhere, but it won't come to hand. But Article 1 of the Irish Constitution is very interesting because it basically claims that we are an invincible nation. And Article 1 predates any other article in the Constitution, obviously. But Article 1 is ignored by most of our politicians. It is ignored by most of our people most of the time. But I pay attention to Article 1. And Article 1 also claims that every political, economic, and cultural activity should be the Duchas is Gnos or Shinshire, according to the genius and tradition of our people. Hold on, and I will get Article 1 and read it, just so that we have. I'll stop this and restart it. Right, I have gotten a copy of the Constitution, and I'll just read out Article 1. To me, Article 1 is the only part of the Constitution that is relevant in this day and age. Everything else is just window dressing, as the politicians found out when the people of Ireland decided to reject the two referenda, whatever they were about. People said to me, what are we supposed to do with the referenda? They just did not have a clue. The coffee culture of Ireland has been rejected by the people. It's only we had rejected, and if our rejection of the Nice, I don't know whether it was the Nice Treaty or the Lisbon Treaty, had been accepted for at least 10 years, if something like a European Union expansion occurs and we say no, then it should be respected for at least 10 years. And then, excuse me, we will see what happens after that. But of course, politicians don't like uncertainty. Anyway, Article 1, Article Hain. Dainin noisiún na hÉireann le seo a ceart do senta do chríte ceanasa chun cibé cinál rialtas is ráil ó féin a bhanú chun a cadraibh le náisiún eile a chiná agus chun a saoil polítíochtas géalagar is saíochta a chur raig dear Duchas is Gnos a Shinshire. Now basically what that is saying is that we can select any form of government. If we want, we can select a royal government. Rialtas riagda. And I think we need a royal government governed by knowledge. Because this notion that populist government work has been, how would I put it? It has been destroyed by the likes of Trump and Biden and the likes of Putin in US. I was going to say the USSR, but in Russia. And anyway, let's get back to invincibility for Ireland. How do we create invincibility for the nation? How do we ensure that any external devices, any external disruption is kept outside our nation? Now, when I talk about our nation, I'm very aware of the difficulties there are within Ireland in relation to Ulster or Northern Ireland. And I shall be addressing those a little bit. I feel that if we push too hard, then there will be a reaction. But we should ensure that the ability to create a united Ireland is there. We should ensure that the people in Northern Ireland, all of the people in Northern Ireland, are willing to join with the Republic and to create a united Ireland. And this is not said because it's the right thing to do or it's the desirable thing to do or whatever. I advocate that we should establish a coherence creating group in Ireland. A coherence creating group is a group of meditators. Meowan is the Irish word for meditation. And Fluin Yoguk is the Irish word for yogic flying. Then we should have a group of yogic flyers in the country with the specific aim of easing the transition from a split republic and part of a unionist community in Northern Ireland to a more inclusive society governed by knowledge. And if we set up a coherence creating group in Ireland, in the south of Ireland, it doesn't matter where, then that transition to an easy state relationships will be assured. Now, I see no reason whereby we should not have a federal government in this country. A federal government consisting of 4 provincial governments and 1 central authority which would be paired of certain powers, and they would be promulgated to the provincial powers. And under the administration of knowledge, under the administration of natural law, under the administration of Drown na Nuharacht, then that could be assured, and we could ensure that the Unionist Committee contingent in Northern Ireland would not feel totally dominated by the Republican ideals in the Republic of Ireland. I think we should drop the term the Republic of Ireland because it's clearly not working. And, you know, Ireland has become a cap and hand merchant to the European Union. I remember a number of years ago when the last major Fianna Fáil government was in power, and that would be about 10 or 20 years ago, then they continuously said, it used to churn my stomach, we have to go to Europe and discuss this with our European partners. We do not. Article 1 states clearly that we can select any form of government that we so desire. Article 1 states our independence from this European they're not a democracy, this imperial power status of the European Union. The European Union should be a union of sovereign nations rather than a sovereign union of nations. I gave that phrase to Michael Leahy, the Irish Freedom Party candidate for the European elections just last Saturday. I don't know if he will use it. That's up to himself. But I think it's a very powerful phrase. It's a very simple phrase. And of course, me being a poet, think that it is very useful. Now I'm going to read something from here. This is my first book of poetry. It's not available in the shops, even though there may be some around. That was Patricia's Tree. It's called Fáilte na Gabhálainn, Folding the Branches. And there's me on the back outside the Shebeen in Cork. So I'm going to read something from here. It's the last poem in this collection. And it's called Síocháin Dúchasach. Síocháin, siadachan, chuin na sí a cruhíon crinnes. Crinnes co fiasa réim se dúchas, réim se duchlíta, le cogga a cusk. I sent this poem to Mary Robinson when she was the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, but unfortunately, she said it's a very nice poem. She couldn't understand it, and it went nowhere. I just want to see if there's anything else here. There's not. I'll leave it. Anyway, invincibility. In physics, there is a concept of the Meissner effect. And the creation of coherence, the creation of a barrier of coherence within the nation is similar. It's along the same principles as the Meissner effect in physics. And it's the Meissner effect in physics which gives rise to levitating trains, where a superfluid flow of electricity becomes impervious. A material that has a superfluid flow of electricity, it becomes impervious to a field from outside. And in a similar way, a nation, a country or a nation which is practicing the transcendental TM City program, including yogic flying, then it becomes impervious to the effects of outside. It becomes invincible. Sinné, gur maithagad agus slán.